Commander Cockings and Countervody here, yet again for another Trekyards mission briefing, your Wednesday bit of goodness. It's the discussion show with a bit of alternate feelings sometimes, and today we are taking the JJ-verse, sort of, not really, possibly. Stuart, what are we looking at today?
Well, we got a strange one. It's a ship that's kind of always boggled my mind. I just assumed it was JJ, doing his thing, but it's actually a Prime Universe ship. Today we're going to be looking at the at Nero's ship, the Narada.
Yes, and it's worth
seen in Star Trek 2009.
And it's worth pointing out this ship is from Prime Timeline, as you said, from the year 2387. Nemesis is 2379, so it's a ship that's 8 years post anything we've seen in Star Trek. Hence, it's a bit different, and it was a Romulan mining vessel. But as we always start off with, we've got this great picture of it. Its first appearance, and can you think back 2009 in that cinema, first 5 minutes, what was your first thoughts of the Narada?
I thought this does not look at all like a Romulan ship. It was so outside the box for a ship, period. You know what I mean? It doesn't really fit any aesthetic or look or whatever. It just looked really strange and huge, so I didn't know really what to expect. I was hoping there was a story behind how it looked, but never really got one. And
And what do you think of it when it progressed through the movie, like its weapons and any first impressions of anything it did? Or
it seemed ridiculous to me, both size and design. It just doesn't. It's hard to tell where anything is or why it is the way it is. It's a strange one.
Yeah, its internal space is badly designed, to say the
ridiculous.
Least. Yeah. I think I'll always remember my 2009 experience in the cinema. I only saw it once in the cinema, so I've got those one memories. And the first moments of the Kelvin, cool. This is awesome. And then the effect was awesome of it coming out of the black hole. I don't necessarily agree with you. It doesn't look Romulan, because I think I can buy it as a Romulan mining ship, because they do have a pointy aesthetic. It's not it's a bit random, but if you consider mining, what's it mining? It could be mining radiation belts. It could be it could need armor. It could need all the different arms. The picture's got lots of different things. It could be all for different mechanical drills. I mean, it could be a super functional. It could open up the scimitars. It's Riemann, but it also has these pointy bits. I mean, it's not too far. And again, 8 years mining ship, which implies civilian, so it's different. I think my biggest concern was the size. While Red Dwarf is also huge, so maybe a big long-term mining. If this was the head mining ship that would go out and bring back 10,000 barrels of dilithium ore, awesome. But especially in comparison, if the JJ ships are oversized, the classic ones, then it's bigger than any other ship. I mean, I think it's even bigger than the Whale Probe and Vija. I mean, it's just. Well, not necessarily, but it's a stupidly big ship. But
having said that, I understand the cargo capacity and all that, but it's not designed to. It doesn't look like it's designed to carry cargo. It's just these random bits that spindly little things. Like, where are you going to store your cargo?
Well, I mean, it's a strange thing.
It should be more. Should be in better shape where you can actually have a cargo hold or two that you can. I don't know. It just seems very odd.
It feels like a siege war vessel. Mega armoured, mega big. You've got ships docked in the aft section. It's got torpedoes for days. It warps in. It fires everything. It can get hit. Doesn't matter. Things break away. It launches. Doesn't really fit the cargo ship role. And also we see in the movie very, very well. I mean, well armed against TOS. I mean, it's like 200 years of more advanced. I mean, anything can rip through. I mean, the Defiant could probably rip through the entire Federation fleet, no problem. I mean, one quantum per ship is destroyed. I mean, that's probably not as big a thing. Although, missiles? Have we ever seen missiles in Trek, apart from the occasional nuke from aliens? Have we ever seen missiles?
Starfleet battles, yes.
Sure.
They're drones. They're not called missiles. They're drones, but it's...
I mean, I'm totally fine with them using missiles. I mean, it doesn't really... I mean, like a torpedo, as we understand torpedo, can't split. So having a missile that splits... I mean, it's a bit weird.
You gotta think too. This is a mining vessel, so maybe the missiles are used to split asteroids.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Great idea. But then you'd want lasers to cut. You wouldn't want to just blow things up.
You'd think, yeah.
Yeah. But that
Yeah.
said, there's probably like a bajillion lasers. I mean, they didn't care; they just shot things. So I mean, again, it doesn't push it. The only thing that really pushes it for me is the size. Just if you'd halved it and made it really big rather than, then I could have bought it a bit more, especially given the purpose. And now we'll go into it later about some background, because we do know a bit more on this episode because we have done a little bit of research. But just looking at what's been presented in the movie, because as they say in the movie, it's a Romulan mining vessel. Those are the two facts you get. So we'll do a bit of discussion based on those things.
Yeah, well, let's move on to the next picture so we can get a look at the entire ship. I can kind of see it being related somehow to the scimitar in a way. I don't know. It looks like a pine cone or some kind of porcupine type animal. It doesn't make sense. I mean, why would you construct something this way?
It looks more Babylon 5-y, more Geth, more...
Yes!
I mean, so many strands of things. It does... I mean, like I said before, I like big ships sort of equal generational ships to some extent. So maybe it's, we're going to go to the furthest reach of the galaxy, well, not the galaxy, but you know what I mean, and get the raw materials, then come back 10 years later, 15 years later, and be like, boom, we defend ourselves, we've got all the materials, we can bring new glory to the Romulan Empire, because that's totally how Romulans work.
But then still, I mean, what is with the design? Is it just because you wanted a lot of windows? So you have parts of the ship that are just one corridor? Like, it does not make sense. And it's not a logical, practical design in any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I mean, we sort of get a sense of how deep those points go. As you say, I don't doubt they all have corridors in. So really, how much of the ship is actually the core ship? And we see sort of this large docking bay, and that's just because of the scale of the ship. But if you really break it down to what actually is the usable size, I mean, there must be some distinct reason for these points. I don't know what necessarily. I mean,
it looks cool.
Well, maybe.
It looks cool. It's J.J. Abrams. It looks cool. Let's throw it on a big screen. And why do we need to explain it? People will just enjoy it because it's an action film.
Sure, not
in my opinion.
Not in Trekyards, but I mean that's sure. I mean, what if the points are a little bit wrong?
No, but I'm just saying that's why I think it was designed like that. As for why it might be, maybe like you said, it goes into radiation belts. Maybe those are emitters that's the only way they can protect the entire ship, is to have them spaced so far apart and use them to scatter the field. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's always an explanation for why things are the way they are.
Yeah,
especially in Trek.
I think J.J. Abrams and the team probably just said, we want to look as aggressive as possible, make it huge, make it... I don't even think mining vessel... I think they said, right, we're going to put the laser on, that's all the mining equipment it needs. We're not going to link in at all to mining. That's not going to be part of it. Although, I did just think, what if the ship is designed... Don't think of it as a long. Think of it as top. So what if it's meant to stab into a big asteroid or a planet, and then beams, and then uses gravity fields to bring the rock up? If you've seen Man of Steel, those things go into the ground and then the rock goes up. Because that'd be, not going to say efficient, but maybe it's designed to really, like... But then you've got the big laser, which can go to the core of a planet in a few minutes anyway, so whatever. But I mean, that would be interesting that sounds like a Romulan strategy, to just dig into a planet and just eat it. That feels kind of Romulan to me. It's a bit aggressive, but I feel like they've been trodden on a bit, and they want to screw some planets up. Maybe, I don't know.
Possibly.
But the next picture is a size shot. I believe it's actually from the DVD. It's in feet there, so it's 30,000 feet, which is 9,144 meters. Which, when you do some math, the Trekyards, the huge Romulan warbird, remember, Romulan, is 1,341 meters. That makes the Narada almost 6.8 times the length of the Trekyards. The best warship for a long time to a mining ship. That's a large ship. But this is a scale chart showing in comparison to the JJ Prize, which doesn't look right either, and the Kelvin. I mean, that's just... mind-bogglingly huge.
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, it really boils down to shock factor. For a summer blockbuster, we want big, we want aggressive, we want bad. So you know that it's bad by looking at it.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting. This picture is unique because it's got that red hue to it. So it looks like a marine life form almost. It looks like
Oh yeah.
a jellyfish or a squid of some kind,
Well, this could
which
absolutely
goes
be.
back to the jellyfish ship that they used as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know what it is with marine animals and JJ. He must have a fetish of some kind, but it's interesting.
Well, this shot looks very much like the Reapers from Mass Effect. There's basically, well, they're squid life forms are not, but they're based off one. Anyway, very much that design style. I think this would be a very impressive Reaper ship, or even a Reaper ship look like a better Narada. But whatever. Let's bring us into the next one, ship.
Right, so moving on to the next picture. This is it in orbit of Vulcan with the drill down in the atmosphere, and that drill looks so spindly and like useless. Of my kids, when they watch this movie, they go, "Wouldn't that break?" Like, yeah, probably.
Well, no, if it's 90,000 whatever meters long, it wouldn't, because the thing's like huge. But how pathetic does that look? I mean, you would think in the JJ verse, at least they say, right, let's make the beam thing ginormous. Let's make just the circle thing the size of a saucer of a connie, and then it'll be impressive. But no, they make it a realistic size, and then you see it, and it's like, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And does this thing like fold down, or does it just retract straight up? Because it retracts straight up, where does it all go? But I can see it kind of retracting like halfway and then folding and then becoming one of those spires up front. That might be neat.
That's
might be an
call.
explanation for some of those. Maybe those are all different drill bits that they can like a Swiss Army ship. They just spin it around and lower another one.
I mean, that's incredible.
Depending on the material they want to mine at the time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you go into an asteroid field and you launch 7 or 8 of them and they just pop out of it. I mean, that's a great idea. I love that. This is a different shot. I mean, this is obviously from the movie. This is the canonical what it looks like. Compare this to the last shot, where it's got these massive arms outstretched. This version, it feels like almost like the pine cone I said, but it feels much more internal. It feels like just this big sort of oval, but it's that sort of shape. It feels much more condensed. I like this shot better. It looks more generic because this doesn't.
I do too. I think it looks better than the last shot for sure.
Because this looks like I've just said, right, we've got a ship, we've got a docking bay, let's put the weapon pods at the front. It's big, but it doesn't matter. There's no design to it. Let's just throw shit on a thing. It's not trying to do big claws or anything. I mean, it is a little bit at the back, but they could be engines or whatever. But it looks more just rudimentary in this, because a lot of it's hidden, I suppose. Which brings on to the next picture, which is, again, I think, concept art. It has a very similar side profile. I mean, this, I don't even understand. I mean, this is not... doesn't look like what's on the movie. This looks very different. Technology...
Well, yeah.
Far more like in Halo, the what are they called? Prometheans. I mean, bits that stick out and are connected by gravity waves. I mean, this is not the ship I saw. I mean, what is this?
This almost looks insect-like in a way.
Oh yeah, Zindi.
Especially that top view. Looks like, it looks like it has wings folded in and stuff. The front view is very odd. Like you said, there's bits that look like they're not attached, or they're attached by something very, very spindly. It's not practical. It's just.
Well,
does this thing like to go to warp? Does this thing like do those parts slide in?
Oh, I assume so.
And become closer to the main mast?
I assume so. Well, you say practical, but I mean, neither does how thin the struts are for the Connie. I mean, it's all technology by that point is so advanced that you can do whatever the hell you want. I mean, I can deal with it because it's just tech, but this looks like a Zindi insectoid ship combined with the scimitar and just stretched, and I don't know why. This doesn't look Star Trek at all. These pictures, nor Romulan. No. If you show this to any sci-fi buff, and they hadn't seen 2009, they would say independent universe, new universe. They wouldn't link this, which is fine, but at the same time, it's important, especially for Trek fans. Continuity is important, and this is a prime timeline Romulan ship. Or is it? Stuart, take us into the next photo.
Onward to the next photo, because I have commanded it.
Now, you didn't know about this. Stuart, this is the actual Narada.
That's better. That looks more like it could be a mining ship. Something that's actually prime time universe. I did read the Countdown series of comics when they first came out forever ago.
Yeah.
So I completely forgot about this, but yes, I guess this is the Narada.
This is, as you said, from the
pre.
Countdown comics. This is how it's shown in the sketches. Now, we all thought what we saw in the movie was the movie because it only says Romulan mining ship. Turns out lots of backstory, but that movie doesn't like story. This is the actual Narada. This is the Romulan 24th century mining vessel. So let's reset. Stuart, what are your first impressions of the Narada mining vessel as actually seen before the bit we'll explain in a minute?
First of all, it doesn't look Romulan. Again, it's got that hue that makes it look like it's a Vulcan ship. Although you can see the drill down from it there.
Perfectly sized for the ship.
Yes,
Spot on sizing.
perfectly sized for the ship. Exactly. So you're telling me this is the heart of that other ship?
If it still exists, yeah.
Yeah, and that drill somehow manages to make its way through all that extra crap to still deploy. I don't. This doesn't say Romulan to me either, though. So.
Do you remember in Enterprise, the Xindi reptilian? They've got that gun that's long, but also has that neck bit at the front. This is almost a spitting image of that. They might have taken design cue from that because I know they do base some of their designs on other ships and tech. They just literally just. Mm-hmm. I do kind of see the warp engines though being a rudimentary evolution of the Derek, not the Nerixion. Those two pods, I can see that. Mm-hmm. Everything else, I mean, it looks like a sort of generic cargo ship, which is good because it's a civilian Romulan mining ship. That's what it looked like. So I'm pretty fine with it. And like I say, the mining laser looks perfect. There is, I mean, if that's the bridge module. And that's one big window. It's a very small ship, relatively speaking. I was just
going to say that. The scaling seems wrong for a cargo ship because it's so small. Where are you going to store anything you mine?
Well, it could be a small mining ship. I mean, we don't know the actual... Just because it becomes a bajillion miles long, I mean, it's lasering stuff. Maybe it just takes just dilithium ore. Maybe it just takes certain minerals that can be easily compressed and put in the back. I mean, you've still got quite a lot of space. So this was fascinating, and we found a new image for this I hadn't seen before. So if you go on to the next photo, this is the aft of the Narada. And again, I didn't know this existed. Again, from the Countdown comics. And interesting. I mean, I kind of love to see this ship in 3D and be able to play with it a bit and have a look.
Well, this one to me looks a little more Romulan. And the reason I say that is it kind of has a wing motif on that back end, on the side. Mm-hmm. Looks almost like a wing motif, which is obviously Romulan. And even those warp engines pods, they do look slightly Romulan. And like you said, it's a civilian ship, so they have a different look than the military ships. But this looks more Romulan to me. The color's wrong though for me. But
they don't get color right in these films. But I kind of like those 3 points spikes that lead up into the front. Again, it's quite a Romulan-y aesthetic. It just looks
that would be what those big long ones afterwards are based on. Is that minor little aesthetic that they had going here, and it just started to evolve from that? Like, how did it become that big ship? Do we know?
We'll talk about that in a minute. If we do know. But I mean, it's interesting. It just kind of looks like sort of a generic-ish cargo ship. And again, someone to design this. I don't know if this was by the same art team. I don't think it was. But the next picture is another one of it, and this is quite an interesting one. Because in the expanded storyline, the non-canon storyline, although if you take the books as canon, but they're not, because they're not. Anyway, whatever. That Nero was working with the Federation to save his homeworld, and so this is a scimitar-esque Riemann ship or 2 ships trying to stop them. And again, different view. It feels different. The way the hull feels is a bit different. But you can see they've actually respected the Derek style by having that bit in the middle. There's a space, the wing warp nacelles, the front points. I mean, there is elements there. I can totally buy it. A bit more from this.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But this next photo, Stuart, we are back to the one we know from the movie, and I will tell you the backstory of why this ship is now this ship.
Story time.
Yeah, Borg. That's the short answer.
Okay, I knew that.
Yes. So in Star Trek Online, they do actually expand this further. That the Tal Shiar have managed to get some Borg technology, reverse engineer it, build new things, and there is part of that in Star Trek Online. Because they do try and link the JoJo stuff a little bit with backstory. But the premise behind this ship is that mining ship, great, whatever, and then it was a test bed for some Tal Shiar technology. Not sure why. And it's nanoprobes. And they rebuilt the ship based on Borg technology, because Borg's like lots of points, I guess. That's totally Borg aesthetic. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, every sphere has anyway. And they rebuilt it, and the nano, it's basically built out of nanoprobes. It's basically built out of, or at least fused with nanoprobes and then materials, and then it grew its own way for some reason. And I think they sort of controlled it, but not really. And that's why it's more advanced. It's meant to be more advanced than anything in Star Trek. Although again, you're seeing it against TOS era ships, so it's going to beat anything anyway. Although I guess they just give it more weapons. I mean, I guess the Borg like missiles now as well, because none of this existed. This is a wholly new ship. You know, I mean, Nero's kind of a lucky guy. I mean, he's like, I have this little cargo ship thing.
How did it get infected with nanites? Why was his crew not assimilated? Why was he not assimilated?
They were reverse engineered Borg technology from Tal Shiar that modified the ship. So the ship then grew and built this new version for some reason. Now, I get the Borg because it's black and green, and it's an interesting plot point, and I suppose you could argue the Borg tech, it's really only Borg in the sense of it being the technology, not being the aesthetic, because why would it be? You know, the Romulans, it evolved along the lines of the ship, and there's a couple of points, so it built points. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch. It's interesting, although once you start opening the can of worms and saying, yes, we can just infuse Borg technology in our ships, and they become 9.5 Derodexes, and they become more powerful. I mean, once you start saying that, then isn't Star Trek a bit ludicrous? You know, well, I guess warp speed between two planets in a day is also ludicrous. But I mean, what do you think of that storyline of this ship was that little cargo ship, which is kind of cool, and then now it's this Borgified ship?
Now, did Nero steal the technology, or was the Tal Shiar the one?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think they gave it to them, and well, you read the comics.
That seems odd.
You should.
Forever ago, I need to reread them.
I do too.
If I was a Tal Shiar, I would have applied this to a scimitar or a Deredex, something that's built for battle because you want it to be mean. Why would you put it on a cargo ship? That's like going out on the street. That's like going out in the street and finding a Mercedes smart car, you know, those little ones, and putting like ground effects on it and souped up engine. Why? Get a car that's made for that.
Well, it's like putting a cannon on a Mini as opposed to a tank. It's like the tank's built for it. The Mini is not going to do well. Yeah, I think that's just their way of making it cool and linked to Star Trek, because again, it's so far out of the norm. So by saying that, I mean, I can buy that as a thing. It doesn't necessarily work, and if the ship can heal and do things, I mean, I guess it was destroyed by another black hole, so that's fine. But again, he's a miner. Why give such a low person the theoretically the most powerful warship ever? I'm sure there are some generals left in the Romulan army, navy. I mean, even Tomalok's around. He'd do a great job. He'd be like, Picard! Or Data, who's in charge of the Enterprise. I don't know.
But anyway, let's move on to the next picture. This is a shot of it from the comic. Not quite as... Not as many spires. Or
this is presumably
whatever you want to call
in the growth process. So, like, you can almost see the ship at the back there, and now it's just building out. Which is kind of... I mean, this feels less cluttered. I like this as an in-between step. It's like the alien from Alien. It's like it's evolving into itself.
And the way those are serrated almost look like ant claws. They look very insectoid-like. And it does make sense if it starts on the main ship that it would grow kind of like out. I mean, why just one direction? Why not all directions and become a Death Star or a cube? Or not a cube,
well,
it's a sphere, Borg sphere.
Well, it's funny if they'd injected it with a slightly more Borgy version, it would just grow into a cube. It's like, oh no, a Borg cube. No, it's the Narada. Oh, looks like a cube. I know, just like a cube. But is there a geometric shape called pointy?
Sure.
The Borg pointy ship. On to the next picture, which is actually a fantastic picture. I mean, these, again from the comic, those are amazing looking Katingans. Those are really nicely done.
You see these, they're called warbirds, Klingon warbirds in 2009 movie, which is wrong. They are in this Kobayashi Maru simulation, and they look good. Even this, the Lego, the Klingon ships from JJ movie look amazing.
Yes, I've seen 3D models of them, and they are close And this is not actually the exact. This is actually a Katinga. Like this is almost identical. The one they have is actually quite a lot different. There's more pieces to it. So I'm not sure if this is meant to be Prime or not. This might be the battle before they got to Klingon space. But then in the movie they're meant to be a battle of the Klingons. This is presumably just they don't know. There's meant to be a jet. Oh no, I guess that's the future, isn't it? No, this is when it comes through, and they got all the. Well, I guess this should be D7s. Yep. Whatever. The fact this ship can take out what's that like 60.
Yeah.
D7 Katingas. I mean, wow, that's.
But it doesn't take it doesn't take them out. This is the part that was cut out of the movie. They did some rough animations for it, where the Klingon fleet shows up after the Kelvin has been destroyed.
Yes.
That's how Nero gets captured and put on Repente.
I forgot. Yeah, they win, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, because it's damage.
It's overwhelming numbers. Apparently.
Yeah, it's damage from the Kelvin smashing in and disabling it partially, and that's why they can. Right. Yep. Why weren't Klingons using this fleet in TOS or Star Trek the movies? Because this is a good fleet, guys. Use the ships.
Maybe it's closer to Klingon territory than we've seen. I mean, the Kelvin was supposedly a colony ship for some reason out there. That's why it was so big. So who knows? If you go to the next picture, actually, it shows them firing at the Narada, and there's not as many ships here, but there is rough cut animation CGI of Klingon ships attacking the Narada, which I really, really wish they would have left in the movie, or at least finish it and put it in, because even the whole Klingon penal colony Repente is in the movie. The scenes were filmed. Leave it in, guys. That would have tied the story more together, and I think because it didn't make sense where Nero went for 25 years.
I've read I've watched a commentary thing, and that's Joe saying, he wants to just focus on this one little bit of the story and not really tell the wider story. But it's like you need story, and audience would get confused. It's like, imagine if, as you say, the shuttles are going away, then you cut reverse shot and like 50 Klingon ships come in. They're the ships we know from canon. It starts a battle, and then we fade to white as a torpedo maybe explodes, and it's like, wow, that's a way to end the first act. A fleet of Klingon ships, like that ups the ante, and it was already in the script. That would have been incredible. And then you cut to
if they had done that, there'd be another unanswered question. Why didn't the Klingons either destroy or capture all the shuttles that were launched?
Yes,
because theoretically they showed up pretty much right after that incident, and the shuttles obviously wouldn't be as fast as these Klingon battleships.
Well, yeah, just how do those shuttles get back to Earth anywhere near? I mean, that would have taken them years, but that's a whole separate question. But it's a great picture, really nicely done. And this next photo is a sort of a weird one. It is from Star Trek Online, and it's a Romulan ship, which has been enhanced by Borg technology. And obviously they've followed the visual cues of the Narada. Forget the ship's name there. And it looks like a bug and generic and not very interesting to me, anyway.
No, it does look more Romulan, though, than the Narada. It does look kind of pulled back version. It looks like the scimitar, basically, with a few extra bits on it. Maybe the scimitar is in the heart of that, I don't know. But it does look more Romulan-esque than the Narada does, especially the color scheme.
Yes, and obviously the scaling's better as well. So
yeah.
It's like, it would have actually been kind of worked better if it had been more like this design, where you'd had that bridge module, that neck, that beak like an Ericsson of some form, and then the outstretched claws. That could have been really interesting, rather than just the claws or just the spikes. That probably would have been a better design, because then it would have, like, all you had to do for the fans is give us a Romulan bridge module, and then everything else can be Borg. But we've just explained it. Boom, canonly linking in, but it's all good.
Plus, with these points too, it looks like very much like wingtips. Like it was just an evolution of the Romulan look. So anyway, let's go on to the last picture, and this is just a great shot of like the concept version of it, which is a cool looking ship. If it was any other alien species that we had never heard of from Star Trek, or not Star Trek. But to be a Romulan ship, and even a Borg-ified Romulan ship, it doesn't really work for me. It doesn't have those visual cues that I need to associate it with that.
I mean, when do the Borg have serrated edges to their spires? I mean, it's very un-Borgified.
A new thing just popped into my mind. It actually ties it in a little bit with Nero. Is his face tattoo,
right? And
the points on his face tattoo, or it kind of resembles. You can see the tie in between the bad guy and the bad guy ship. I don't know if they were meaning to do that, but
Any closing thoughts, Stuart?
no, like I said, it's typical for a big summer blockbuster movie kind of bad guy shit, but it's not necessarily Star Trek. So
Cool.
there you have it.
All right, well, that is it for this week's Trekyards mission briefing. Your JJ dose for every once in a while. We've got a few more ships to come on. Don't worry, guys. We'll cover them eventually. And if you guys want to support the show, please head over to Patreon and give what you can, or a one-time donation at our main webpage, www.trekyards.com. And if you just want to subscribe on YouTube, do. If you want to like us on YouTube, do. If you want to email us, do. If you want to shout from the hilltops, Trekyards, do. It might not go well, but it's up to you. Anyway, if you just want more of us, then check out every other episode on Saturdays and this Wednesday and Mondays and all those things, and tune in for another episode when that comes out. This is it from me, Kamala Coggins.
And me, Captain Foley.
And we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Trekyards!